The Safeguard American Voter Eligibility (SAVE) Act, recently passed in the U.S. House of Representatives, represents a significant shift in voter registration requirements that could affect millions of Americans, particularly those who have changed their names through marriage. This legislative measure would fundamentally alter how citizens register to vote by mandating documentary proof of citizenship, moving beyond current identification standards. The act proposes to amend the 1993 National Voter Registration Act with stricter registration requirements. Under the new legislation, commonly accepted forms of identification, including driver's licenses, would no longer be sufficient for voter registration. Instead, prospective voters would need to present specific citizenship documentation such as U.S. passports, birth certificates, or naturalization papers to register to vote. One of the most significant concerns surrounding this legislation is its potential impact on married individuals who have taken their spouse's name. According to analysis from the Center for American Progress, an estimated 69 million people who have changed their names through marriage may not have birth certificates matching their current legal names. This discrepancy creates a substantial obstacle, as the bill's language leaves their voting status uncertain. The legislation doesn't clearly specify what additional documentation would be required for these individuals to maintain their voting rights. The implications extend well beyond married voters to affect various demographic groups. Military personnel and rural voters could face particular challenges, especially regarding mail in and online voter registration systems. According to Greta Bedekovics from the Center for American Progress, the law would effectively make in-person registration at election offices the only viable option for many Americans. This requirement could prove especially burdensome for rural voters, who might need to travel considerable distances to obtain and submit the necessary documentation. The legislation includes serious enforcement measures, establishing criminal penalties for registering someone without proper documentation. This aspect has raised concerns among election officials and voting rights advocates. Eliza Swerin-Becker, senior counsel at the Brennan Center's Voting Rights and Elections program, warns that election officials, facing potential legal consequences, might become hesitant to register voters whose documentation names don't match their current legal names. The bill's supporters, including Republican Representative Mike Kelly from Pennsylvania, argue that these measures are necessary to prevent non-citizen voting. However, data suggests that such fraud is extremely rare. A study by the nonpartisan Brennan Center for Justice following the 2016 election found only 30 suspected cases of non-citizen voting out of 23.5 million votes cast across 42 jurisdictions. Current state-level requirements vary significantly. As of January 2025, only 8 states require proof of citizenship for voter registration. However, public opinion generally supports stricter voting requirements. A 2024 Gallup survey revealed that more than 4 in 5 respondents supported proof of citizenship requirements for first-time voters. The potential impact on married women is particularly noteworthy, given that approximately 80% of women married to men in the United States take their husband's last name, according to a 2023 Pew Research survey. Under the SAVE Act, if their voter registration name differs from the name on their birth certificate or passport, they would likely need to provide additional documentation to maintain their voting rights. For those potentially affected by this legislation, experts recommend taking proactive measures. Bedekovics advises married individuals who have changed their names to obtain certified copies of all marriage certificates, locate their birth certificates, and maintain comprehensive change of name documentation for any future voter registration updates. Critics argue that these requirements would create an in-person, show your papers requirement that could effectively disenfranchise many eligible voters and cause significant administrative challenges for election officials. The bill now moves to the Senate, where its fate remains uncertain. If enacted, it would represent one of the most significant changes to voter registration requirements in recent years, with far-reaching implications for millions of American voters, particularly affecting those who have changed their names through marriage, military personnel, and rural voters.